Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. So for this episode, we're going to kick you off by jumping into a couple news subjects that just happened. First off, LeBron was interviewed on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday. So in that interview, he would talk about saying him and Jordan aren't friends. They don't really talk to each other. He said maybe that changes when he retires, but he thinks Jordan looks at it as like competition, and that like LeBron's chasing him, and he thinks because LeBron's still on the court, it's a competition. And he would also go on to say that him and Kobe weren't good. He said they got along, but their relationship was competitive when both of them were playing. That when Kobe retired and he went to LA, him and Kobe's relationship grew stronger. That was when Kobe was no longer playing anymore, and Kobe told him, hey, you're a Laker now, I got you, anything you need, just call me, just let me know. So that just brings up something to me. So I don't know if necessarily that's it, or with Jordan being the competitor Jordan is it from the standpoint of whatever chance he gets, LeBron always says he's the greatest. Michael Jordan's not really going around saying he's the greatest of all time, as well LeBron, pretty much any shot he gets is always saying that LeBron James is the greatest of all time. He's always saying himself is the greatest. I don't know that it's the LeBron's on the court in competition. Maybe it is, but it could also just be the fact of LeBron's not as much on letting the game speak for him as he's trying to speak for himself and saying he's better than Jordan. I think maybe people would have as much of an issue with LeBron if he kind of just stayed quiet on that subject. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. If you're LeBron James and you can do the stuff he can do, hey, you have the right to say you're the greatest. But at that same point, Michael Jordan had that same right, and I don't see interviews where Michael Jordan's going around saying he's the greatest. If you ask him, like him against anyone, he's going to say himself. But he's also not going to stop you and say, well, of course me, because I'm the greatest of all time. I just think that's a little bit of a difference. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think that adds a lot to that competition level of Jordan and LeBron, and maybe even LeBron and Kobe. When Kobe was still around and still playing basketball, you never know, but I think that's a part of it. But also some other things from LeBron's interview. Mind the Game podcast is coming back. That is what LeBron James and JJ Redick did. And I'm just going to put out this disclaimer, so to speak. But if you are what JJ Redick calls a basketball sicko, and you love the game, and you want to know everything about basketball, and you want to learn more about the plays and understand them and this and that, you watch that pod. It's not going to be JJ Redick because he's the Lakers coach. It will now be LeBron James and Steve Nash. So that's really cool. First episode drops Tuesday. LeBron said they always have a couple in the can. So we know we get at least a couple straight Tuesdays of it. I also find it, for me, because I love watching and I love them explaining the plays and breaking them down on the little whiteboard. They have a mini whiteboard, and then they show the play on the screen. I don't listen to that podcast. I watch it because the visual is so much better than listening to it. So I would recommend watching it on YouTube. It's going to be a great show, and if you're a basketball sicko, you'll love it. Some other things from that interview, LeBron said that 2007 team, that Cleveland Cavaliers team that went to the finals, he said he doesn't even know how the heck they got there, but they did, and that's something else going into it. I myself would never award something that way, because it seems to me like you're putting yourself above your teammates when you say it like that. So in general, if I'm on a team where I know I'm the best player, and say I put up, like LeBron's 25 straight against Detroit, say I put up, say it's a street game and we're going to 11, say I put 9 of our 11. After the game, when my teammates are like, you carried us or this or that, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I carried us. I'm going to be like, hey, we weren't there unless we all played defense, we all got stops, we all got rebounds, we all did something. And that's my mindset for you. And I'm not saying that's not LeBron's. We know he's a great leader, but I think stuff like that just does not age well, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And just the way it's worded, it just seems to me like you're taking shots at the team. And we all know it wasn't the best team. But could have just been like, hey, it was a group effort, we got there. Instead, LeBron took off most of the credit, and he is what he is. But like I said, that's just different fans and knowing people and knowing how this stuff sounds. I changed it up a little bit if it's me, but hey, LeBron is one of the greatest of all time. He has that right, so he said it. But then he talked a little bit about his time going to Miami, his decision, it being broadcast. He said it was not because he wanted to broadcast himself and his decision. It was for a charity, and they made over $2 million for his charity for that. So you get why he does that, but not everybody understands that. And there was a lot of the outside conversation and the chatter, and none of it really mattered. But LeBron went to Miami, and he had a Hall of Fame movie career in Miami. He had a Hall of Fame movie career in Cleveland, and now he's having a Hall of Fame movie career in Los Angeles. Has something be said for that, and the fact he's still doing it and still going at the age he is. Of course, there's a shot LeBron's the greatest of all time. I think that's always going to be debated, and I think it's mostly going to be debated between LeBron and Michael Jordan. And that's just my opinion, but I think you could go either way. I think some people would say Jordan, grew up watching Jordan. Some people would say LeBron if you grew up watching him. For me, on the topic, being from Ohio, I'm a little biased, and I'm going to tend to say LeBron James is the greatest of all time, because not only is he from Ohio, not only was a lot of the stuff he did legendary in Cleveland, but he also brought Cleveland a championship. So to me, no one else has ever done that, so I lean towards the LeBron James greatest of all time. Another newsworthy thing to talk about, we've seen that Damian Lillard has the deep vein fibrosis in his calf. So we talked about Victor Wembanyama having that in his shoulder. Dame Lillard has it in his calf, and he's out indefinitely. They're talking like possibly 2 or 3 months, depending on how bad he is. They said it doesn't seem like it's bad enough where he'll never play basketball again, which is great, because we know that happened Chris Bosh, and we know he was never able to get back out on the court consistently, and it pretty much led to the end of his career. They're saying that should not be it for Dame Lillard, so that's great. I say keep most definitely praying for him and hope he gets through this, and maybe returns sooner than not. But if he doesn't, Milwaukee's lost a few straight. They're starting to fall in that Eastern Conference seeding. We're looking at a chance that they're the 6th seed, and they're playing more than likely the New York Knicks in the 4th round, and they are even a 4th or 5th seed. And that could bump them in the 4th round instead of playing the Pacers and having Dame and Giannis healthy and possibly getting past that 4th round at least. You're talking about a team with Giannis and Dame Lillard at the end of the day underperforming and being a 6th seed that got bumped in the 4th round. And that could mean changes. That could mean Giannis is on his way out in the summer. I've talked about Kevin Durant being moved in the summer, and more than likely he will be. But Kevin Durant talks would go on the back burner if someone like Giannis becomes available. So that's something else keep an eye on and keep watching. And just for fact to see the teams that could get him, like who would make a package for him. We know Golden State's been heavily interested in him, but you have Jimmy Butler. Do you think about possibly moving Draymond Green, picks, and young players and making the big three of Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Giannis Antetokounmpo? Just something to keep an eye out for. Just watch. But yeah, a lot going on in the NBA. We have some should be good games tonight. We have some good games slated for this weekend. That'll do it for today's episode, but be sure to tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going to talk about the NBA awards races. So we have MVP, we have Defensive Player of the Year, we have Sixth Man of the Year, we have Coach of the Year, we have Most Improved, then we have our All-NBA teams. We're going to talk about those awards tomorrow, and I'll give my predictions. We're close enough to the end of the season where I feel like I can give my predictions, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. We'll see how many of them I get right when the awards are announced. But like I said, thank you for tuning in. The NBA is really interesting at this time. We're so close to the playoffs. Sometimes the season seems long and tedious, but We're to the end of that, and we're getting ready for the funnest part of the NBA season, the playoffs. And I think it's going to be really competitive this year, so stay tuned and keep watching.